Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is possibly really rambly. So there's two reasons why this might be really rambly. One, I wasn't going to do a video tonight, and this is coming from what's in my head. I want to put it in a video, see what you think. And two, I've had a lot of cider. So tonight, I've just come back from a gig in Littlehampton. It was a lovely gig. It was a really good gig. It was the last gig of the year. And full band. We did some Christmas stuff. They asked for some original stuff, so we did some original songs as well, including our new single. So it was really cool. It was a really lovely audience. It was really good. And the landlady kept giving me more cider. So despite the fact that I shouldn't be taking too much cider at the minute for health reasons, I had a fair bit of cider tonight. So this might be part of the motivation for doing this video. It might be that I'm a little bit, still a little bit tipsy, maybe, I don't know. But basically, I just wanted to put up another message that it's going to have some similarities to another video that I've done in the past about appreciating the good stuff. But specifically, I want to have this kind of general message of do what you love doing and acknowledge the fact that you love doing it. So, tonight was a really good gig. Last night was a really good gig. I expected last night to be really good, and tonight I thought it might be a mix of lots of different things, as much as that idea. If it's more of a jukebox gig, then you're kind of playing to the audience, and it's like a bit more of a situation where you're like conquering the audience. You know, if you like, you're kind of winning them over. But to be fair, they were a really positive audience. It was a fantastic night. They were there to have a good time. You know, we stepped up to that. I'm always receptive to that, and you know, I was getting them to sing along, and we were picking the right songs and all that sort of stuff. And we actually delayed the Christmas songs because they wanted the other stuff like Tainted Love and The Middle and the Stray Cat stuff we do and all that kind of thing. We were doing that first, and by the time we got to the end, we had an encore where we did our really fast version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town. We didn't actually do that many Christmas songs, consider it was a Christmas gig, but we did lots of jukebox type famous songs for sing-alongs and stuff. It was really good. But they asked for some original stuff, which was really good, so we did some original songs as well. And we had some great responses, and it was just a really good night, really good audience, very accommodating, positive landlady, and you know, it was just really good. And crucially, for anyone who doesn't put this in the equation, it was a paid gig as well, so you know, pay musicians. But yeah, what I wanted to say was that I'm not very well this week, and last week, but especially this week. I've been coughing all day. I do say to my students, there is this thing that sometimes gets nicknamed Dr. Stage, that when you're up there with the adrenaline, and if you can learn to control it a little bit, it doesn't sometimes matter if you've got a bad cold, and you can get through it, and you can perform as you normally would. So tonight I did a lot of shouting. I mean, like when we got to Wells of London, I was shouting my head off. I can do those things even when I've got a bad cold, and you kind of, manipulate the coughing a little bit, and you can see it, you can feel it inside your throat, and you kind of change what you're doing to try and accommodate that. There is a skill to it, and it does take a while to get going, but ultimately, if you can learn to do that, you can do gigs when you're not very well. And I've never cancelled a gig out of illness, I don't think. Oh, COVID. When COVID happened, I did, but then I was in hospital. But outside of that, I've never done it. I'll never ever cancel a gig because of a cold. And sometimes it makes it really hard. Sometimes, you know, you lose some of your notes and you can't sing properly and all that. And you have to know what you can do and get the best out of it and do the best performance you can and make sure that the audience get a really good night out of it. And there is an art to doing that. And I think that if you remain positive and you think about getting the most out of it, it will happen. And you'll have a great night. We've left that venue buzzing, saying that was a great evening. And we did a good job. You know, we put on a good show. And I'm exhausted. I'm still poorly. I know this is like 1:30 at the minute in the morning. I know I'm going to be coughing for the next little while. And I'm not going to get much sleep. But we put on a good show. That's really important. And I'm proud of the band. I'm proud of what I've achieved. I'm proud of what everyone else does. Like I say a lot about Bemis, I just love listening to everybody play. I love the band, regardless of my part in it. I just love what we do. And I know that we always put on a good show. And I know if anyone hadn't seen us before, and they go, oh, what's this band like? We always keep them in the room. They're always pleased. And I love that. So yeah. Not particularly well. But we did a good show. And I think it's important to put yourself out there. Not necessarily as a musician. If you're not a musician, that's not what I'm talking about. It's about if you want to do something, then try and get into the mindset where you're happy to do it, that you're willing to do it. Because that sense of achievement and the sense of pride in knowing, it can be a dodgy word, but pride in knowing that you put yourself out there, you took yourself further, you braved it, and you did get that sense of achievement from it is priceless. It's absolutely priceless. I just put a message on Matt Wall's channel because we exchange messages sometimes, and I know he said before in his videos, just do it. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Sod anyone else. If you want to do something, do it. And it's so true. If you want to do it, and recently I've been absolutely bowled over by a very positive and very real review of my first novel from OK Vaughan, which I really appreciate. But it's a real review. I mean, it's got criticism in there as well, which is worth taking on board. It's got stuff in there that makes me think, wow, okay, I need to look at that. And it's really cool because it's something that I essentially did for myself, in the sense that I wanted to see if I could do it. I wanted to write something I wanted to read. So, I'll talk about this in another video probably, but I didn't want to make it overly long. I didn't want to make it overly involved. I wanted to tell a good story and put the right amount of exposition in it and all that sort of stuff. And I was pleased the way it went, but I'm extremely pleased and honoured that I had such a lovely review from someone who was being very honest. You could tell he was being honest because there's criticism in there, and it means a lot to me that it helped him through a bad time as well, because that's, again, priceless. That's something that is so important. And there are some authors that have done that for me, over the years. So it makes a huge difference. So that is the result of me, not anyone else telling me that I could do it, but me thinking that it might be worth me doing it, that maybe it is worth me self-publishing, putting something out there, an actual novel, rather than a bunch of short stories, which vary in length, vary in substance, vary in sophistication, absolutely vary in style, but a consistent story with a beginning, a middle, and an end, with characters that I was trying to flesh out into real people, and a story that was adding something to what I might have read before. I was being quite bold in thinking that it was worth me doing it, really, let's face it, because there are trillions of books out there, and to be so presumptuous that you think your idea is original, should you be that presumptuous? But I put that out there, and I am so I just, it's a very special feeling thinking that someone's read it and it meant something to them. And one of the first people to read the book said they really cared about the three boys, Danny, Lee, and Julian. They really cared about them, and that's really important, because ultimately that's what it's about. You know, this is the thing about the golden age of science fiction not being so hot on characters. If you're not telling a story through the characters, then you're just a guy with ideas. Do you know what I mean? It's not really telling a story in a way that you could tell a story. The stories are such a fundamental part of storytelling is the characters that are taking you through that story. So if you're not very good with characters, then maybe you should be collaborating your storytelling rather than writing a whole story by yourself. So because of that idea that's in my head, it means a hell of a lot. The idea that someone's reading Out Among the Ice Beacons and feeling that they really did care about what was going to happen to them. And they do get into some horrific situations. And like Michael says, Julian is particularly vulnerable because they see him as a bigger threat than the other two. The other two, their situations are more reactive and they're more circumstantial. But for Julian, it's definitely, he's being much more proactive, which is why he gets himself into more hot water, really, with the system, the political and religious system of the planet. So, yeah. I wanted to say, just, if there is anything that you're hesitating to do, and you want to do it, and you're not sure how it's going to go down, do it. Just do it. And you never know. This could be something that could be your new lease on life. It could be something that you're very excited about, something that motivates you. It could be something that ends up being really rewarding. So that was really what I wanted to say. Anyway, speak to you soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.